what Lou's voice and melody and writing has done has taken my simplicity and changed it.
But you're throwing in sevenths and ninths, which is the bit that,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
he'd play a minor ninth and my legs would go weak. You know, it was just like that voicing, just, you know.
Lou, do you want to get your clothes out?
No, I'm leaving those in.
Okay.
Early Monday morning in the Dutch town of Zeewolde. In the parking lot, we find the British duo Kiioto, still a bit sleepy.
Waking in New Orleans, soft beneath the sheets, rattling at the window.
Kiioto may be a new band, but its two members are familiar faces in the music world. Singer Lou Rhodes and keyboard player Rohan Heath.
On Josephine Street, on Josephine Street.
That is the guy to talk to about all sound things.
Long time.
We first met Lou Rhodes back in 1997 when she recorded the first of two 2-meter sessions as the lead singer of the successful trip-hop band Lamb.
Gonna love you till the seas run dry. I found the one I waited for. The one I waited
A few years back, after a string of solo albums, Lou took a break from music and even did a master's in poetry. And then she met Rohan.
We got together as a couple first and foremost, and we'd both been in music for about nearly 30 years. And for my part, I totally still loved music, but in terms of actually making music, I felt like I'd kind of got as far as I needed to go. It was when Rohan started playing the piano in the kitchen. His voicings on piano just really stimulated ideas in me, but musically that I really wanted to step into. There was a sort of jazz leaning. It was an area that I'd always wanted to experiment with, but hadn't been able to. So it was like almost like a new lease of life and a new excitement about music, really, for me.
In the 90s, Rohan Heath found success as a musician and songwriter for the dance group Urban Cookie Collective, who scored a global hit with The Key, The Secret.
With Urban Cookie Collective, when you listen to the simplicity of melodies and voicings, back then, if you take away all the extra stuff, they're very simple things that stay in your mind. So I think that has always been what I do. I think what Lou's voice and melody and writing has done has taken my simplicity and changed it. So it's still playing in major keys. They're happy keys, not being sort of uber cool. She's cooler than I am.
But you're throwing in sevenths and ninths, which is the bit that,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
he'd play a minor ninth and my legs would go weak. You know, it's just like that voicing, just, you know, it's I don't know.
And Lamb were always kind of, they had a jazz leaning, didn't they?
Yes, to a degree. But I think melodically, it wasn't stepping into the realms that we kind of experiment with.
Sweet summer sun dries up the rain, and I feel
Kyoto's debut album, As Dust We Rise, is filled with songs about loss, hope and new discoveries.
Lou came up with that title. I think we both felt that we'd settled as musicians, we'd said what we had to say, and then kind of together, use the word synergy, we started kind of rising again without kind of moving around each other and disturbing each other's kind of musical particles. There was a bit of kind of electricity between it, and you know, you put electricity near dust in it, and it kind of starts.
I mean, it was partly the idea of it came from the Maya Angelou poem "I Rise," which is a real poem of power and kind of finding one's inner strength. And I think that was the starting point. But then we started to kind of play off that idea, and there is actually a line in that poem that says, "Still like the dust I rise." And we're as Rohan was said, it's saying this album is about it's a rebirth and a reinvention. And there's that beautiful moment sometimes when you see dust rising and it catches the light. And it's magic. We're both very much inspired by beauty and imperfection and wabi-sabi and all of those kind of, that aesthetic of this beauty and the small things.
But the imperfections
the things
are
that people
big.
miss. It's so the music I need to be making right now.
Harry died in the spring when the green light burst into blue. You'd have done anything to bring him back safe beside you. Fluid forms in your hands.
It's the two of you playing today. It's the two of you playing live as well. What we hear actually here in the studio is a band, a full band. You use a lot of stamps.
Yeah.
What do you miss while using stamps?
Well, ideally, we'd be able to have 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 people on stage, live bass, live percussion. You miss the interaction. When you see a jazz band or a rock band from the 70s, it was those things that happen once every evening and never happen again. A chord change, a mistake, a mistake that goes right as well as wrong sometimes. And I kind of miss those. But we bring a lot of live stuff that we do differently every night. I always play something different every night. I play the harmonica differently every night. So there's still, the stems really are just the foundation upon which we play live. We're not a band that does playback.
The thing with Kiioto's music is it's stepping into a realm that I certainly hadn't been able to step into, and it just gives my voice so much space and room to play and grow, and
I think together with musically, we've stepped away from our individual egos. Mm-hmm. So I could play 1 or 2 notes and Lou could sing the most complicated song, and I don't feel as though, well, my skills aren't being shown, and vice versa. Lou sometimes the simplest melody over something more complicated, and there's no competition, and because we've done it for so long now and had so much success in other bands that it's like distilling the perfect perfume. First you start and you want 50 ingredients to get the most complex scent. By the end of it you just choose 2 that are it's just really simple. It's like the old blues players, they play very few notes, but it's what they put into those notes.
And I hear you say, 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 here comes the flight. Here it comes. Oh, oh, here comes the flight. And I hear you say, ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-ba, ba-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-ba,
How important is reading poetry or writing poetry for you?
Very, very important.
Is that different than writing lyrics for a song?
It is. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this Masters in Poetry, because, you know, as I said, I'd kind of stepped away a bit from music. I was listening to music all the time, but just wanted to make that sideways step. And when I was on the course, I very much was, you know, very much investing in poetry as a different thing, a very different thing. A lot of people on the course would say, oh, you're a songwriter, surely it's the same. And I would say, no, it's not. It really isn't, because poetry has to look right on the page. It has to be read as something in its own right. And lyrics are different. Lyrics have to work with music. So, but it definitely had an impact on coming back now to writing songs. I think I'm prouder of our songs than I have been of anything I've written in the past.
Does it mean that you start with lyrics before you do music?
No, it's a free-flowing process, isn't it?
Yeah, I tend to come up with chords, and then sometimes Lou will just come up with a general idea, or I will listen to something, poetry that Lou's written, and my chords will come from the feeling of those words or the space between those words.
Yeah.
Or, for example, Lou may be 3 weeks into writing a song with a title that I gave her, and then I say, I prefer what you've written. Let's lose the title.
I'm running to keep up with him because he's constantly
4 or 5 song ideas a day.
creating stuff. So I'm just like,
Absolutely. We're kind of halfway through our second album.
yeah.
Wild geese fly north just before the spring. Here's the goal to sow into your wings. And wild geese fly north just before